We'll be calling the meeting to order in one more minute. One more minute. If you're, hello, whoa. Okay. If you have not checked in and received the ballot, please do so. Okay? And we'll be for voting this morning. And we will get started in just a couple of minutes. They're still out there. You want to wait for them? All right. I would like to welcome everybody to our 2022 annual meeting. My name is Bobby Flowers, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. And And as always, when we start any kind of meetings or anything, we like to begin with prayer. So I'm going to ask Reverend Darlene if she'll lead us in prayer.
Thank you for being here. Just turn our awareness to within, and we begin by giving thanks for this time together that's already been this morning. That sweet Holy Spirit that lives and moves each and every one of us, that abides in our midst. We give thanks for this opportunity to come together, to realize that to be organized, to have systems and structures is what allows an idea to come to life. And so we turn our awareness to the spiritual community, the business at hand, as we reflect and as we look forward, as we celebrate together. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Darlene. So now we're going to talk about establishing a quorum. In accordance with our bylaws, the active members present will constitute a quorum for the transaction of business at any annual meeting. A quorum is hereby established. It's now time to approve the minutes from last year. So the minutes from last year have been distributed in the annual report, and they've also were in last Thursday's e-news. So hopefully everyone had opportunity to look at last year's minutes. Are there any corrections? Okay, I don't see any hands up, so I'm going to say there are no corrections. So the minutes will be approved as distributed. Thank you very much. One other thing I wanted to mention too is now that we've gotten through the minutes, if we could hold all other questions until the very end, and we won't have a time for questions then, because we have a lot of information to go through today. Okay? As you know, we also do our annual review process, or renewal process, I'm sorry. And today is the day that that's going to start. So if you choose to continue to be an official member, if you so desire, if you will fill out a membership form or go online and fill out a membership form. We have some on the table out here as you leave. You can fill one out and leave it with us if you'd like. And that's just so we have our information updated every year, okay? This starts today and will go on for the next 4 weeks, okay? All right, thank you all very much. And now I'll turn it over to Reverend Darlene.
Thank you, Bobby. I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge, I'm a member of the board as well, but our entire board of trustees. With this church, we just had an amazing history the entire time I've been here of incredible individuals who have served on this board, and this year is no different. And so if you'll raise your hand just so that everyone knows who you are, our board president, Bobby Flowers, our vice president, Sharon Oxendine, secretary, Gail Ray, Cheryl DeCristofaro is our treasurer, and then members at large, Michael Morano, Brian Mcgrady, Fred Racy, and Joe Wegner. Would you show them some love, your amazing board of trustees? Next, I'm going to invite up to the front of the room our staff, so you can get an opportunity to see our staff that are always working behind the scenes. We have Reverend Christy Corna coming up now, our associate minister. We have, come on up, Gabby. Reverend Gabby Michael is our Director of Youth and Family Ministry. Reverend Marty Stemmerman is our Director of Operations and currently serving as bookkeeper as well. We have Donna Bricky as our IT individual. James Miller is our groundskeeper and watchman. And then, of course, our amazing Unity Band that we get to enjoy every year. And we had the addition of a volunteer, Joey Duke, so we want to thank our band. And our tech support in the back, so often behind the scenes. They do stuff during the week, and they train other volunteers, Tia Holmes and Acela Thompson. Would you give all of them their appreciation? Thank you. And then before they share some brief comments with you, we have an extension of our staff, and sometimes in incredibly large ways. For example, Judy McCowan. Judy, would you please stand? She is a retired CPA who just volunteers. Yeah. Never in any of my ministries have I had a CPA in the congregation, at least who said it out loud, and I knew it, that would allow us to draw. But because we're down one position, we're down a financial administrator, she literally helps. She prepares our financial report. She's just a critical eye that oversees, and she's a supportive eye in so many ways. So Judy, we really, truly appreciate that. Others are from our support ministry, Reverend Deborah O'Geist. If you're in the room, please stand. Yeah. Reverend Barbara Ann Simone, there she is in the back. Reverend Barbara Ann, thank you so much. Reverend Morgan Barclay, he does so much on our staff. And our newest addition, Reverend Karen Patrick. Karen, we're delighted to have you here and working. Yeah. And so Reverend Gabby Michael is just going to give you a brief youth ed update.
So our youth and family ministry last year started mostly outside when we came back. The first half of the year, we were only on video.
A little closer, Gabby, so our live streamers can hear you too.
So we were mostly online, and then in July, we came back in person outside, and then once it started getting cold, we came into the multipurpose room. And we're still utilizing, we put a lot of effort into the videos over the last 2 years. Some weeks we were putting 65 hours into 1 week of a production. So we're utilizing those videos still, especially the music videos for our classes. And we've started doing a leadership program for some of the older children where we're giving them an opportunity to do presentations about things that are interesting to them. And sometimes their parents join them. We had last week a shamanic journeying with one of our students, and it was profound. We went to find our spirit animals, and it was really, really a profound class. So what we would like to do is invite any adult who has a topic that is interesting or something that would benefit our children. We would love to have you come and present to our children. We want to start to give them practical tools so that they can apply these principles to their lives. So now they all have a spirit animal that's with them every day, which is really cool. So that's what we're doing. We're looking for volunteers. We're going to need to open our younger kids program soon. Finding staff has been really difficult during this time. So that's why we don't have our nursery up and running. So that's kind of where we are.
Thank you, Rev Gabby. And now Donna Bricky, who does a number of things, including our IT support, and she oversees ultimately our live stream.
And I get very nervous when I talk in front of people, so bear with me. Just giving a big shout out. You know, working with live stream is not just be physically present here every Sunday. We have to be spiritually present as well. And I am so grateful to have a team like Acela, Mary Ann, and Tia with the sound. It just makes it, just when the message goes out across those airwaves, it's going out spiritually with the people that's touching all that equipment, which I think makes a big difference. And as you can see, yes. And especially with Tia, we've been doing a lot of equipment changes and trying to improve quality, and one of those have been the sound system. And Tia put in major hours in research and setting up and implementing that sound system, and it did sound great today. Just wonderful, just beautiful. And you know, can you imagine not getting the message we heard today out to the world? I mean, just imagine that going out. Well, it did. It went out because of the live stream and being able to do that, and it's going out to the world. And I'm not going to go over all the stats. You can see we're continuing to grow, just more and more people, even taking in 8 virtual members, which I get so excited about. And the next thing that we're looking into is you can now text to give. So take that number down and be able to text and do an offering via text. Thank y'all so much for your support.
Thank you, Donna. Reverend Christie.
Hey there. So, yeah, just like Reverend Darlene, I realized, too, that I am now entering my 7th year here in service to this community, and it is my honor. And I just wanted to give a shout out to our volunteers. While things have been very different the last 2 years, it is still the volunteers that are the heart of this community. People just stepping up and offering their light and their gifts and their time and their energy and ideas into making this spiritual community all that it is, and even out in the greater world. So I wanted to give a shout out to our volunteers. We have, first I want to mention our Reopen team. When COVID first hit, we organized a team, and Cheryl DeCristofaro and I co-lead that, and we've been very instrumental in making sure that everything is handled for our soft reopening, and now we're, where we're at today. And there's a lot that goes into it, such as COVID supplies and gloves and masks and disinfectant and all of that good stuff, as well as organizing volunteers. If you're on the Reopen team, could you please stand? There's Cheryl, Reverend Marty, Donna, Reverend Darlene, Jennifer Hastings, Fred Racy, and Elle, Linda Ray, Elle, and she is actually currently, I think she's ready to pass the torch, but has been organizing the volunteers for greeters every Sunday. Right now, we really only need 2, one at the door and one at the door of the sanctuary to welcome folks. There's specific training and guidelines that we have to follow to do that. That's why the Reopen team has been at the forefront of our welcoming team and greeters. However, as we move into opening fully, we will reactivate all of our teams. So if you've served as a volunteer, so we have the Habitat team, we have Adopt the Highway that keeps the roadway clear over by Sierra Nevada. We have the Flower team. We have, so many teams. Habitat, did I say that? Because that's a big one. Okay. So if you volunteer, just please stand and just have a look at all the people that are involved in keeping this community going. Yes. Yeah. So thank you. You know, I always say you put the U in unity, and that is so true. Together, we make this community. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do. You know, you all think I do a lot. I have your help and support, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
So would you got something else, Gabby? Go right ahead.
Yeah, I feel like I won an Academy Award and I forgot to thank my wife. Reverend Barbara Ann is my right hand. And so I want to thank Reverend Barbara Ann.
To our staff and to our support staff, would you show them our love and appreciation? Thank you so much. Our annual report is available online. There are some hard copies here today, and so all of those teams have given us reports, so I encourage you to look at that. And if she failed to mention the name of safety team, sustainability, we have so many teams, please do take an opportunity to look in the report. All right, we're now going to move on to our time to vote, electing 2 board members.
Everyone, I'm Sharon Oxendine, and I am the Vice President of the board. Can you hear me better? Okay. This year we have 2 board members completing terms of service. In accordance with our bylaws, Article 3, Section 5A, a nominating committee shall be formed at least 3 months prior to the annual membership meeting and shall initiate a search for qualified candidates for the Board of Trustees. The congregation shall be invited through regular Sunday announcements and other notices to make their recommendations for board candidacy known to the nominating committee prior to the annual cutoff date. The nominating committee will accept nominations from the congregation any time between the day after the annual membership meeting and 30 days prior to the next scheduled annual meeting. I would now like to call upon the nominating committee chair, Michael Winter, to present the committee's duly qualified nominations.
Thanks, Sharon. The nominating committee included, in addition to myself, Reverend Darlene, Acela Thompson, and Brian Mcgrady. We're honored to present the following 2 qualified candidates. Each candidate will come up or stay up, as I call their name. Bobby Flowers is returning again. And Jennifer Hastings. Both well qualified, Bobby for a return service and Jennifer for her first. Each of them will come up and briefly share with you their reasons for doing this and their involvement here at Unity.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Michael. Everyone knows who I am, so I've been here for a while. Like the others, I've been here. Well, they've been here 7 years, I've been here 6 years, so I'm catching up with them. But I just want to thank you. It's just been such a pleasure to be on this board. We have a group of great people. I love helping to make the decisions for the church and making sure that things happen, and that's really my goal. I had a very dear friend said to me within the past couple of weeks that I was exactly where I needed to be at this time, and I feel that is true. I feel this is exactly where I need to be at the moment. Thank you very much. Jennifer?
Thank you, Barbara.
Well, I had sort of a sermon today, but I guess it won't happen. But I'm very appreciative of being asked, and a lot of soul searching about if is this the right time and place in my life to do it. And the resounding answer from my higher power was yes. And so, have you ever, look back on your life and you think about certain events and you're like, how in the heck did that happen? Well, this was sort of not one of those, but it was sort of one of those, where, again, my higher power told me I needed to step forth and make it happen. And so I'm going to imagine that the next 2 years or so will be full of fun and laughter and personal growth on my part. Thanks.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you. I want to thank the nominating team, Michael, and I want to thank Bobby and Jennifer. Keep in mind, they're not running against each other. These are two separate positions. So you can say yes or you can say no, but they're not in competition. So it's now time for official members who are here today, who are present, to vote by ballot. If you're a member and you do not have a ballot, please raise your hand. I need one.
It's that little yellow slip of paper.
Okay.
Oh, green, I'm sorry. It's a green slip of paper. And again, we have 2 nominees and we have 2 vacancies. So you're voting yes or no for both of those because we need 2.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask you to vote, and then someone will be picking, I need 1, 2. And someone will be picking those up in just a minute. Okay, hold on. So we have someone coming to the end of the rows right now to pick up those ballots. We're done. Okay. So those have been collected. Pointing out something. Someone's got another ballot in here. Please raise your hand if you have that ballot. Okay. So thank you. So there's folks that have been chosen that will be going outside to count the votes, and they'll bring those back in. Bylaws is related to the election of board members. Our next order of business is the election of a member and an alternate backup member to serve on the 2023 Nominating Committee. From Article 3, Section 5A, 2B, at the annual membership meeting, the membership shall elect one of its members and her alternate to serve on the nominating committee for the next year's election. The nominating committee assembles beginning 3 months prior to the annual meeting to meet with 3 other team members and interview potential board nominees, making official recommendations for this board of election, for the Board of Elections. And instructions will be provided to you at the time of service. So what we're going to do right now is ask, is anyone willing to serve on the 2023 Nominating Committee? If you are, would you please raise your hand?
Ellen Winter. And did I see another hand over there? Terry Crosby. So Sharon, we have Ellen Winter as a potential representative and Terry Crosby as a potential alternate. Was there
Okay.
anyone else who raised their hand?
We have the two people indicated. Are we ready for a motion? So Reverend Darlene, as she stated, we have Ellen Winter and we have Terry Crosby. Are we ready to place a motion for this? All right. All in favor, now raise your hand. All opposed? Let the minutes reflect that we had an overwhelming majority in favor of this. Was that Gary that moved? It was Gary. Gary moves all the time. Okay, ready. It's now time for our financial reports and budget review, and we recognize Cheryl DeCristofaro, Treasurer, Judy McCowan, member and retired CPA, who is our financial support and prepares our great monthly meetings and reports for the meeting for the board to review.
Hold it close so our live streamers can hear.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. So I'm going to start out by saying that when we had our meeting on Wednesday, our board meeting, Reverend Darlene said to me, so this is what you'll be covering, but you can make it your own. And I took it and ran with it. So then at 11 o'clock last night, I realized, oh, there are going to be PowerPoints that have to, I have to follow the PowerPoint. So I think everything is, I think I'm still on the right track, and I'll keep track of what's going up on the PowerPoint in according to what I'm going to present to you. So I'm pleased to tell you that in 2021, we had our best financial year in the history of this ministry. Yes. Yes. And there are a number of things that made that possible. To begin, our staff and board members have worked diligently to reduce expenses in the following ways. Because of COVID, we suspended most on-site activities here at the church. We offered our smaller youth program, as you heard previously, and we transitioned to a one in-person, we eventually transitioned into a one in-person service. We also had a staff vacancy for a bookkeeper, but we did not fill that position in 2021. Instead, our Director of Operations, Reverend Marty Stemmerman, has taken on most of the day-to-day responsibilities in terms of the bookkeeping, in addition to everything else that she does. Judy McCown, as you know, is the volunteer and CPA who has been helping and supporting Marty's efforts. During this time, we've also been able to grow on our online presence and support from the online community. Additionally, our members and contributors have remained faithful in their stewardship. They have supported this ministry and our message. We made some smart financial decisions in 2021. We qualified for a low-interest Small Business Administration, SBA, loan. This allowed us to use our reserves to pay off our previous mortgage with Citizens Bank, and that payoff figure was $165,650. So we paid off that loan, which is a great thing. And note, this is not the Raise the Roof loan. This was our separate mortgage. So that separate mortgage has been satisfied, and because we had the SBA loan. And so our SBA loan payments have been deferred, and we will start paying them in June of this year. So what that means is throughout 2021, we did not have a mortgage payment, so that put us in a really good financial position. And the SBA loan payments are deferred until June. Let's see, we also received 2 special donations last year. Let's see, am I getting ahead? I might be. Well, let's see.
It's the bottom point. You're here.
Yeah, I got it. So far, so good. 2 of our members, Gail Kilmer and Pamela Green passed away in 2021, and both of them included Unity in each of their estates. So we received 2 donations from these bequests. And also, I don't see it up there, but I think we're going to be moving into the actual numbers, so I'm going to mention this now. So if we see, okay, so before we get to that, we received 2 other special donations this year. We received $4,500 as a designated gift to create a meditation garden near the labyrinth. Yes. And also we received, this is amazing, we received a donation of stock valued at $70,176. This was deposited into our Edward Jones investment account where it sits right now, and we were advised and agreed to hold on to that stock for a few years, and so that is what we've chosen to do. So yes, we should all give ourselves a hand for having such a great year, and we did it because of all of you here and all of those who are live streaming and who have supported us. Okay, so now to the numbers, our 2021 financial information. This is for the year ending in December 31st, 2021. We had, just to give you the high points, we had expenses in 2021 of $311,824. Our income was $383,716, which gave us a net gain for the year after income and expenses of $71,892. So again, the income and the net gain are the highest from general operations in the history of the church. And so with that said, and we can all congratulate ourselves, we're going to take a look at the end of year financial statement. Okay, I can drop this. Okay, so this is our 2021 cash position. In our operating checking account, we currently, as of the end of the year, we had $87,418 in our checking account. We had, in our Raise the Roof account, we had $117,870. And in our Labyrinth Fund, we had $43,076.
4,000.
I mean, 4,300. 300. Wow, that was a lot, Fred. I'm all heady with all of this money. Okay, $4,376. So we also have restricted funds, a restricted funds operating account, and in that account we have $52,255. And we have in our restricted funds capital account $136,090. And in our new meditation garden account, we have the $4,500 that was donated. And so in our operating budget, let's see, where am I here? Okay, we're just going to go off this. In our operating budget, so this is the 2022 budget. And in the budget, we have projected $296,750 of expenses for the coming year. And can you just go back? Okay, so, and we also budgeted to, so that's the matching amount, $296,750 in income, so they balance. So would be good to keep it that way. Okay, can go on. And in our loans, we have the Raise the Roof loan, which was our capital campaign. We have in renovations, that's with Home Trust Bank. And we have a balance with Home Trust Bank of $180,522. So our payments for that, for the Raise the Roof loan are $1,064.47 a month. And we also have our Raise the Roof pledge balance as for 2022, and this is the final year of Raise the Roof. We have $116,815 pledged. So our SBA loan, and that's Small Business Administration, is $250,000, and we are paying that off at a 30-year loan at 2.75% interest, which is great, a great interest rate. So the payments per month for that, which I said earlier, that begin in June of this year, are $1,112 per month. So that'll be coming up out of, we'll start paying that in June. So we have some outstanding expenses coming up. As you might have noticed, we're doing some work in the kitchen. So we're doing a kitchen upgrade, and that's $20,000. We've got some plans for landscaping of $10,000 in the budget. And we also plan on doing some improvements to the restrooms. So that's to be determined, though. So we just want to thank you for your support of Unity's message and ministry, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. And it's great to have all this talent on this board. As you can tell, it's really wonderful. I am the board liaison for Keepers of the Light, and I was so excited to see that we started our annual stewardship program. It's a great way for the church to be able to project their budget, and so that we can know as a board how to be prepared. A big part of our financial support and stability comes from these pledges and our supporters. And we launched our annual Keepers of the Light stewardship program last fall. And the Keepers of the Light team members were those you see listed on the slide. And if you're here, would you please stand so everyone can recognize you? Yay. Thank you. So here's an update. In 2021, we had 43 Keepers of the Light pledges, representing 43 individuals or couples for a total of $124,280. However, actual income from those pledged donors to the stewardship fund was $154,876
Million.
I mean, sorry. Yay. We had 48 Keepers of the Light pledges that came in for 2022 with a total of 137,140. And the thing about it is you can join Keepers of the Light at any time. We do request at the beginning of the year that you make sure that you sign back up again so that we know that you're on pledge and that you're going to be supporting the church. So thank you so much. I would just thank all of you. Now for updates on our grounds and improvements, our wonderful Joe.
Hand him that microphone.
I've got about 6 pages. As some of you know, our kitchen has been in sad shape for a number of years as a result of the same water intrusion that plagued the entire eastern wall. The cabinets, countertops, drywall were in sorry shape. In addition, the dishwasher was inoperable, and most of the plumbing was defective. The renovation project started with the removal of all base cabinets, countertops, plumbing, and damaged drywall right down to the studs. New moisture-resistant drywall was installed. Defective plumbing was replaced. Next, the flooring was replaced with heavy-duty vinyl plank. Then all of the base cabinetry and granite, yes, I said granite, countertops were installed. Followed by a new garbage disposal faucet and a donated commercial dishwasher. In addition, Team Habitat repainted all the cabinetry that was not replaced. Also, thanks to our very own dynamic duo, Chris Walsh and Donna Mcgrady, a tile backsplash has been installed over the sink. All cabinetry has been thoroughly cleaned and new hardware installed on doors and drawers, and the walls have been painted. As mentioned previously, against a budget of $20,000 for this work, this has all been done for about $15,000. To date, all this has been completed with the exception of some touch-up painting and reinstallation of the refrigerator, freezer, and ranges. And now all we need is a team to take over and run this almost all new and updated kitchen. You may have noticed some green vine fencing out on the patio. This came about at the suggestion of our insurance carrier, Church Mutual. As a result, Team Habitat has assembled and installed safety fencing on both ends of the patio to protect folks from getting hurt on the roof support crossbars. One final thing is the sanctuary lighting control. A few of you are aware that the lighting control panel located in the sound booth has been a problem for quite some time. Some of the switches were broken, others were not controlling properly, and several relays had to be replaced. After consultation with the system builder, Lehigh Electric, it was decided to replace the control panel. A new updated touchscreen LCD display panel as well as 2 satellite panels were purchased. And thanks to the expertise and hard work of Donna Mcgrady, these have been installed and are operating flawlessly. Thank you.
Tell you some about the flooring project. Michael Moreno and I headed the flooring project up along with the board. And in October 2020, we began interviewing local flooring companies to install luxury vinyl planking in the lobby and the community room and carpet in the sanctuary and the 3 offices in the lobby, off the lobby. So we contacted Carolina Flooring Contractors, Flooring of America, Usher Carpeting, and Lester Flooring, and they all submitted bids. Lester came in considerably lower at $31,750. They gave us a substantial church discount, and they also upgraded the carpeting down here at no cost. The first part of 2021, they installed the new carpets and the luxury vinyl planking. And then I just wanted to point out little things, you know, Joe Wigner and Michael Moreno, they came in and installed a lip around the stage here so that the carpet could tuck under it and just make it look much more professional. So little things like that, you know, that you don't even know about, yeah. We chose the luxury vinyl planking for the lobby because it will, you know, endure more and it gets a lot of traffic out there. And the gray color because of the blue, white, and gray washing, the planks, the plank walling that was installed by the Habitat team. It went well with that. Let's see. We did have some initial ripples in the luxury vinyl planking out there, and Lester came back, and under Michael's direction, they repaired all of that. So that was nice. You know, they really stood by their product. And we also put in the 12 squares out by the front door of the same carpeting. These are actually squares. And so if any got damaged, it would be much easier just to pull up one square and replace it, and we have replacement squares. And we also installed we ordered and put in outdoor mats that match the coloring of the outside paint. So a lot of things got done.
Good afternoon. So good to be here today and see all of you. And I'm going to mention a few things about the memorial bricks. And I'm just the messenger because I think it was very timely today when you talk about imagination. There was a program that existed in the past, and it had pretty much gotten, I'm not going to say it went to the wayside. It wasn't happening. And then through the imagination of this young man right here on the end, Fred Racy, he revived the program, but he wasn't flying solo. So if Lynn would raise her one good arm there. So together they managed the program, and these tribute memorial bricks, I've purchased a few myself, and they're wonderful. So you can have the option of having one of us install them into
Hold your microphone, Mike, for the live
Thank you.
streamers.
One of the pathways in the labyrinth, or you can actually, we'll make arrangements if you want to come out and actually install the brick yourself. And then we're discussing having the blessing of the bricks maybe on a quarterly basis. That's to be announced. But the cool thing about it is that, you know, they're $50 a piece, but over half of the amount, $31, actually goes into the Labyrinth Fund, which is sustaining to maintain the Labyrinth, to put new plantings, whatever we need to do to keep the Labyrinth up, and the new pavilion too. So a big shout out to Fred and Lynn for doing that. The other thing I wanted to mention is our new pavilion, and that's been a dream ever since I landed here, and we've been trying to imagine how that was going to come about, and there was been a lot of twists and turns. We purchased this kit from the Amish, and it was delivered to us, and I've learned so much along the way because it was built to withstand the snows up in Pennsylvania, but it wasn't built to the codes of North Carolina. So. And it did add a little bit to the cost. We had to go and actually get engineered drawings, and we were blessed by the people that engineered our structure out back here over the patio, and they actually gave us a substantial discount. And there was times in the whole process that I couldn't imagine how this was all going to play out, but I could actually visualize and imagine and seeing it complete and being appreciated and enjoyed. For future celebrations, weddings, whatever we decide, or maybe just a respite to get in and out of the sun and have a quiet moment, you know, of meditation. So I think I've covered pretty much. There's a couple slides here, and this is the finished product right here after Habitat has completely stained it, and this was the process. This I'll just mention briefly. The footings, which you can't see that are below that slab, are 4 feet deep and reinforced with steel. I've been told that can support a three-story home. So if you have high winds and you're out on the grounds, you'll be safe. If you just... Thank you very much.
I also want to acknowledge, we had a slide, but Joy and Benjamin Warren, they have actually homes all over, but their personal foundation they've been the main contributor to that, and it was through their funding that enabled us to do that Labyrinth project. And Michael, you just have no idea the hours he spent making sure we had a Labyrinth that could support a 3-story building. So thank you, Michael.
I'm going to give you a report on our landscaping. I'm partnering with Elisa Ryan and Peter Gallup, and we've been interviewing different landscapers. And in interviewing them, BB Barnes created a really beautiful plan for us, and they did that for $340, which is pretty amazing. I'm sure they gave us a gigantic church discount. But we then went on and put the landscaping plan out for a bid. We interviewed BB Barnes, Raymond Nursery, and the Potting Shed, or TPS as they're now called. And TPS came in with a significantly lower bid. BB Barnes was around $17,000 and Raymond was around $18,000, and they came in at around $10,000, just a little over $10,000. We did have to reduce the number of plants some, and I think we'll be fine with that. We accepted their bid. We made a down payment to them, and so around the 1st of April, we will begin creating new landscaping around the front of the church. Some of that will depend, of course, on the weather. Our Habitat crew will be helping them, and that will help lower our cost and get more done for the money. We also will be purchasing the mulch ourselves, and the Habitat team will be putting that down. Some of the plants, mondo grass, encore azaleas, prostrate yews, autumn ferns, camellias, drift roses, many penny hydrangeas, skip laurels, phlox, cutleaf Japanese maple, along with other shrubs and perennials. We looked at things like, what are the watering needs? Are they easy to care for, the color, the texture, and not overgrowing the area? And we're also just, once again, it's really wonderful to also have donated the $4,500 for the meditation garden, which will, go along really well with our new landscaping. So, thank you.
Me again. So now it's time for the President's Report, and I'm not going to read my President's Report because you all have a copy of it in the annual report, but there are a couple of things that I want to say. This has been such an honor and such a privilege to serve as president on this board. This team here, they are amazing. Every one of them are amazing, and it has truly, truly been a pleasure to work with each and every one of them. My husband's back there making faces at me, so now he's got me distracted. I'm sorry. This is 2021. As you see from everything that we've shown up here, 2021 has really been a good year, even with COVID and everything else. We've been able to get a lot done. And of course, all of that is because of this wonderful board, our wonderful staff, the AV team, Reverend Darlene, and of course, we could not have done it without all of you. Just like they say, it takes a village, and you are the best village. And I truly mean that. I love each and every one of you with my whole heart. 2022 promises to be another good year. I'm not sure what COVID's going to hold, but we'll go through that together as a unity team, all of us. One of the things that we're excited about this year is Reverend Darlene's finally going to get to take her sabbatical. So we're real excited about that. She'll be gone from June the 20th to September the 20th. And in her absence, of course, we have a whole lineup of guest speakers that will be wonderful, of course, and everyone I'm sure will enjoy. And we look forward to her coming back to us and giving us all these tales of when she was on her sabbatical, right? Your board, all of your board members and the staff are always going to be available in her absence. So if anything should come up, we're all still going to be around. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Bobby, and I truly echo everything everyone has said. It is quite an amazing team. 2021, the saying, it was the best of times and the worst of times. It was challenging in many ways, and yet it was incredibly enriching, leaving stretch marks to show our growth together. I think one of the biggest things is that we're no longer, and I don't even think of us anymore, and I know many of you don't, as a church, but we recognize ourselves as a spiritual community that's located all over the place. And our world is just beginning to imagine what that can create. And so we're on the forefront of that. One of the things that people tell me and that I see is that, number one, this is a destination place for love, and that here God is love. And that people are coming because of the message, the music, the mission. People are becoming because of the spiritual community. And those that are within this area are coming here because there's something about this property. It's beautiful. It feels good. And to me, it's time. It is time that we're able to do the things that were taking place to create beauty, both inside and outside. And I just want to thank all of you for that, for creating a place where when people think about Mills River, Mills River is becoming a place of spirits. Sierra Nevada, Bold Rock. There's a lot of spirits around here, but we are anchoring spirit down here. And so we're not, and like Riveter, and see, we're becoming a destination place. You'd be surprised how often people that never step in this building come to these grounds and walk our labyrinth and enjoy this. And so the meditation garden and a vision for the following year to have 12 benches of 12 powers spread out. You're going to be invited into hopefully creating these parts of things. As has been said, we also received new members last year in the midst of everything going on, and some of those were virtual members. And so we're in uncharted territory together, but we're joining with people who want to be part of this consciousness. So those of you that are here today, would you acknowledge our live streamers that are joining us? I also want to thank our staff, Reverend Marty and Reverend Christy. On Sundays, they're out there because they're managing the people that are interacting live stream. Reverend Morgan Barclay, Reverend Morgan, would you stand? He has been so faithful in hosting a Zoom group that is now this group, sometimes they gather together. It's such a rich. So classes and things that have continued. I had my doubts at first. I'm a people person. And so when you put me in front of a computer, I thought it was horrible at first with COVID when it was just me and the camera and 3 people in the room. It just felt so real. But you know what? You can grow through those things. It grew me, it grew us, and it's teaching us something. We can count on the fact that this is teaching us something. And so we're doing our very best and stretching here. One of the things we're working on right now is called a hybrid class. So for example, next year when this meeting happens, I hope it looks just like this, only that we're able to be completely full. And I hope on this screen you're seeing pictures of people from all around the globe who are joining in. So that we're going to be soon teaching Zoom classes where some people be here and some people be on Zoom, and you can interact as much as possible. So that's on our agenda. A shout out to Donna Bricky, who's making that happen. Yeah. Donna, by the way, has been invited and stepped up. Unity Worldwide has a team for live streaming, churches that are trying to figure it out like we are, and now she is serving on that team with other leaders. So we're just very blessed to have her expertise with us. So one of the things that we're really looking forward to, and we're going to trust that COVID settles itself down, because every October we kick off a fall series here, and we always have some kind of homecoming. Well, this year what we're planning to have is a homecoming retreat in addition to that. So any of our virtual attendees are going to be able to come on down, fly in, come into town. We're going to be inviting some of you, help us create an experience and host people who typically join us online. So mark your calendar, hold those dates. All things continuing to clear up will be going forward, and there's a team of people that are already coming together to make that happen. So what you're seeing is people sharing gifts from near and far. For example, I don't know if you can see Jennifer Hastings. Jennifer, would you please stand up and show what you are doing right this very moment? Some people consider this fun. If you sat me in a chair and asked me to knit, I would consider that punishment. But we all have our gifts. But Jennifer is part of creating prayer shawls. A number of you are. But guess what? Also, Nan in New Hampshire is creating pockets. The Boudreaux in New Orleans are creating and sending in. So people are sharing their gifts from right here and sharing their gifts from afar. We've seen some amazing things take place this year. Peter Gollop in creating this masterpiece of wings, just absolutely striking and incredible. His wife, Karen Eve, the fabric, Nature's Cathedral, will be placing that elsewhere soon. But you're seeing beautification and art come in. Chris Walsh creating these on the outer sides. Our Habitat, our very own Habitat for Unity team creating the beautiful wood. And if you've gone inside the bookstore and seen the wall, the lips, they're doing so many things that you may not realize. Even those faux fence, which nobody around here is going to say they're pretty, but they will keep kids from running into those cross-beam bars and hurting themselves, as our insurance company pointed out. So would you show your love and appreciation to our Habitat team and to our artist. In the midst of COVID, our sustainability team this past year, 2021, we won the 5th consecutive. Now, out of all the thousands of Unity churches, only 4 churches won an award, period. We were, I believe, the only one that won a church for its 5th year in a row for sustainability practices. So a shout out to Jerry Conley and Judy and to that team. Part of those efforts, Pam and Charlie Rogers, you may not know, but once a quarter they go and pick up vests and stakes and bags. And from here down to Sierra Nevada, they pick up the trash and they keep that clean. Now, they have been known to make their way all the way in Sierra Nevada and enjoy lunch and perhaps some libations. I don't know. But if you want to be a part of that team, there's a team, I'm sure that you can find one that works for you. As Joe mentioned earlier, be sure you peek in the window. The kitchen is still not yet opened. It's not completely fully functioning, but so much work has been done. But you see that beautiful tile work? I popped in the church yesterday to do some things, and who did I find but Chris and Donna finishing up on a Saturday. They donated the tile, the work. I just want you to know how people are just really showing up behind the scenes. I mean, they were cutting tile and slinging grout, and I got out of here. But it looked, it looks really beautiful. The talent we have is just incredible. If you've not seen our new community room, it used to be called the multipurpose room. We renamed it the community room. It looks beautiful. We have 12-step groups that are starting to come in and meet here again, and they all walk in and they're like, wow. And our very own Gail Ray painted this. This is a table that folds up and goes down that Habitat installed. So they're creating functional things that are with beauty. My office, which is also a mini meeting space, is absolutely gorgeous. And that is thanks to the Habitat team for creating that. And for all of you for giving to our Raise the Roof, our capital campaign. So we had the funds, and then they donated a lot of resources to make that happen. So we're creating beauty, we're connecting together, and one of the things that I'm so excited about for this year, looking forward, we are the next, actually maybe the first, Unity Worldwide is creating something. I told in a Sunday service a while back, Unity has a very large presence in South Africa. That is because way back in the 1940s, I believe it was the 40s, Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, when the radio came out and the FCC didn't yet have regulations, he got the biggest tower he could and was sending out the Unity message. And it was going out so far, it was landing in Africa. And so because of that, there's a huge Unity presence in Africa. A lot of the children that have grown up in Unity churches are now wanting to become ministers. But it means they need to go through seminary. It means they need a computer. It means they need a support. Guess what, Unity the Blue Ridge? We're the first church that's going to sponsor an African minister to go through the 3-year program. So that's... That's one of the ways we'll be investing, giving back with some of our tithe. So I'm so excited. And that also means that throughout that 3 years, we get to communicate with that individual. We get to partner with their village in that program. And my hope is, I'm hoping we'll bring them here, and maybe even we'll go visit. You never know. Anything's possible. Just, you could have a mermaid tail.
I really think the board should go.
You think the board should go, yeah. As Bobby mentioned, I will be taking a sabbatical. Please don't let that be a thing of fear. Ministers are highly encouraged to take a sabbatical between 5 and 7 years of ministry. I was due for my sabbatical in my 5th year, and then COVID happened. I did not feel like it was the time to go. So it'll be my 7th year, but why? What happens? Well, during that time, I am going to be writing a book. I've just got information that's coming through, and I need to be sequestered and set aside for that. The other really important thing about the timing is in most churches, when a minister comes in, the minister gets their hands, you get involved in everything. And that was very much the case at this ministry, because this ministry operated as a small family ministry, meaning that it didn't have a lot of programs and support in place, but it operated beautifully around the culture of small family. Well, we have the number of people that we're a program church, which requires a lot of layers of support. So what tends to happen in a church is when a minister comes in, they get really bogged down in the details. And unless you take time apart, and unless you give the church and yourself time to say, you know what, the minister can step out of the details, and this church is still going to run beautifully. We've got amazing staff. We've got amazing volunteers. We've got amazing creativity. So it's your turn. Many of you are going to be asked. You'll see more people on the platform, different things happening. And what I anticipate is that when I come back, I will be less consumed by the details and more on fire by the vision. Because we're here to be a leader, not only in unity, we're here to be a leader in our world. And so I need to get out of the details, I need to get really inspired and come back and let's see what we create together. So during that time, during that time, please come out and help them plant bushes. Let's just make this place a complete place of beauty, and I can't wait to be back and see what all happens. Now, you're not going to be missing me very much because you have the Reverend Jim Rosemergy. He's going to be here a few weeks. You have Reverend Aaron McCabe, who is the young minister at Unity Village Chapel, who's going to be here a few weeks. You've got Eddie Watkins Jr., Elaine Silver, our very own Megan Goshevsky, and more. So we're going to make sure that it stays interesting and dynamic for you during that time, so don't worry about that. One note, the Reverend Erin McCabe, she has a little daughter. I think Erin's daughter is about 3. They're going to be here over 3 Sundays. So for about 3.5 weeks, we're looking for accommodations. They would need accommodations that are private, separate bath, that kind of stuff, where they really can be sequestered. If any of you know of a place or are interested, see our staff. Someone make a note, Jennifer, that Angela is raising her hand. So. All right, so we'll talk about that and see if that works for her. So thank you for all of that. So I shared earlier this morning, what Kate Daigle said, and to me this just sums it up beautifully when she said, I cry, I laugh, I sing, I dance every Sunday. That's what gets created here together. And from my heart to yours, I'm in my 8th year now. We just completed 7 years together, and I can't tell you how much of a blessing that feels and how inspired I am to be downloaded and to see what our next 7 years look like together. I have 0 plans to go anywhere, so don't let that, that's not... My plan is to be here, and I just have this feeling that I really, every time I tune in, I see the image that between the caterpillar and the butterfly, the caterpillar completely disintegrates. You have to go through the goo to become the butterfly. We are going through the goo, but there's something very powerful that is happening here, that as we go through the goo, we're finding our imaginal selves, and each of us are opening to what are we to be going forward. So I ask you to open your hearts, open your minds. Don't stop. Don't allow you to say, oh, we had a great year, I don't need to give. No. Don't buy into that. If we had a great year, it means something is being created. You do what's yours to do. The reason we've had a great year is because everyone has done what is theirs to do. You give as you receive. And if we all do our part, let's just see what gets created here. So thank you. It's my honor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't make me cry again.
Yes. Thank you so much, Reverend Darlene, and everyone else for your reports. It's now time for Reverend Marty to deliver the results from the voting, please.
Well, we have such a beautiful board, and I'm really happy to announce that we had 61 votes cast to re-elect Bobby, and we had 61 votes cast to elect Jennifer, and it was a unanimous decision, so welcome to our board.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for your vote. It's very important, as you can tell, as we form our board. Now's the time we're going to open up. If you were writing down some of those questions or comments or something you wanted to add, now would be the time. Go ahead, Gary.
Gary Ray, I have two questions. Now, Jennifer is new on the board.
That's correct.
Who cycled off the board?
We'll be going over that.
Yeah, we're going to tell, Reverend Darlene's going to be talking about the board terms that were complete. We had to find out. That's a good question. We're going to let you know who's leaving, and then Bobby will be staying and Jennifer will be coming on.
Second question, raising the roof. Now, we did a lot of planning. We had phase one. COVID happened. Now, I've heard someone say in the report that raising the roof will end at the end of 2022. So will we be going back through this whole planning thing again? Or what is planned for that? Did that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. And thank you for allowing us to clarify that. So Raise the Roof, if anyone's new, that's what we called our capital campaign. We had a lot of deferred maintenance that needed to take place. We also had vision for some new things, such as covering the patio space. So we were able to do that project, which was about, Judy, $400,000? About $600,000. Wow, so that project was almost $600,000. So people gave pledges that were running over 3 years that allowed us to pay down that $600,000. So Gary, when we said that 2022, that's the third year of pledges, and we have about 117,000 outstanding yet in pledges. But if we all follow through on our pledges this year, we should be really close. And with the surplus we've got, my goal is that we completely pay off that $600,000 capital campaign project. That we get that paid off this year. So I think that's definitely doable. So that's what we mean. And then we have plans to take a rest and enjoy what we've done. We don't need to go into the little things that were left, like the kitchen, the landscaping, the bathrooms. With the help of our Habitat team, we're accomplishing those little remnants of things. So I think we're going to be in good shape for a few years to come.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary. Angela?
Her question is there any intention to return to 2 Sunday services? Yes, we just don't know when that will be, and we want to make sure that the need is still there. We definitely get feedback that there are a fair number of people, I will not call names, but there are a fair number of people who like watching at home in their PJs with a cup of coffee. Nobody can fault that. So we don't know what it's going to look like going forward. I'm also the kind of minister, I channel a lot, and when it comes through, when it comes out, when one very powerful experience is created, in some ways it's really hard to say, okay, take 2, let's do that again. So something dynamic and live gets created in one service. So that's a question I'm taking into sabbatical and prayer. So what will 2 services look like for us? When will they be? How will they be? So just know we're in that question, and I expect us to expand at some point in time this year, probably in the fall.
I see someone in the back.
Karen Eve. Well, so Karen Eve said 2 things. Let me just repeat on microphone. The first she said was she's glad to know that Amazon Smile. So what that means, if you order on Amazon, you can go in and pick a charity. This church is a chosen charity. And so every time you order Amazon, just go to Amazon Smile, choose us, and we'll be the charity that receives a kickback from Amazon. We're set up as the legal name for this church is Unity Center of Christianity. And so that name sometimes trips people up, but we're Unity Center of Christianity doing business as Unity of the Blue Ridge. So just know that you do have the right place, and don't let the word Christian scare you off. This is it's us. It's us. It's okay. Donna, has that been changed? All right, so Donna is saying it's on our website, gives the link to allow you to do that. Because if you order on Amazon, go to Amazon Smile, just set up us up as your default charity. It doesn't cost you anything, but the income trickles in. The second thing Karen Eve is talking about is there's a difference in a live experience and a live stream experience. There's so much that goes into a live stream experience. Most churches our size have a crew of 4 or 5 people back there running stuff. And so, yes, we do have plans. We're continually improving that. But right now with churches, what's the word for it, Donna? There's a word for churches that, I can't think. Anyway, it's a whole new, it's just uncharted territory. Because we're not a church that has a $40,000 a month production budget. So it's a whole new uncharted territory being created. How do churches with a smaller group of people create a product? Because people are watching these services. I mean, I never set out to be a televangelist, but I do go home and watch myself on my own TV and just cringe a lot of times because I laugh like a hyena. Like, why do you do that every Sunday? It's very humbling to go see yourself on television. So your question is, are we aware and are we bridging the gap? We are. We just don't yet know exactly how we're going to get there because, there's not a clear path. Yeah, but thank you. Good question. Other feedback, questions, thoughts? Let's see, there, Michael and then Linda Rowe. We did Michael asked if we're doing a credit card program called Roundup. Most of you don't even know, but we did a trial a couple of years back. What Roundup is this: if you were to sign up your credit card, whatever credit card you sign up, every time you make a purchase, it rounds it up to the next dollar, and it gives that roundup amount to whomever you designate that. Now, you can set a cap. For example, I was one of the guinea pigs, and you can set a cap of like $50 a month. So if you charge everything and you're like, okay, but I need to make sure it doesn't go over this much, So we've been trying that. The challenge that we've had with the Roundup company is they keep imposing fees, and they have they've changed it because they're trying to figure it out too. So we are doing some research. We've been looking at other companies. It is a great concept, and we do anticipate rolling it out. But right now, it's costing us more in administrative staff almost than worth the end result. Having said that, we feel very confident we will find the right combination and get there. So we had Linda Ray, and then I saw Patrice. Oh, you have something about that? Okay. Yeah, those of us that are still doing it, it's still, I mean, the church is making a net profit, and it's helping us figure it out. So those of you that are guinea pigs, it's working, we're trying, and it's helping us figure it out. And you see it on yours too. Judy, do you remember, didn't we make a profit of about $600? Yeah, last year there was a net profit of about $600. So it does matter. It just, we're getting there. So thank you, Phoebe, Judy, the handful of people that are allowing us to test it. Thank you. Same question? Okay, so we had Linda. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you. It really does translate. I just want you to know people are being blessed from all over the place. So it's and Ellen, when I was asking some of the potential live streamers if they came here, what are some of the things they wanted to do? And they said they wanted to see the donkey lady's donkey. Other questions, comments?
I have a comment.
Sonny Rubel. Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that. This board has been really, really busy behind the scenes.
So I had a comment, Sharon Oxendine, as also a member here. For all of us as a board, we came together in COVID time, and so we didn't get to spend a lot of face-to-face time in the beginning. I also just want to thank our partners and spouses because they support us with the time that we give to this community. When Reverend Darlene asked me to be on the board, this goes along with her message today, and I just feel really moved. When she asked me to be on the board, I said I needed to pray about that, and I was already on several boards, but I found that it was really important as a person of color that I needed to step up. That's what I heard my higher power say, was that I needed to represent here. And that I have stayed with this board, and it's been wonderful. But I also want you to know that I want this community to continue to grow in inclusivity and diversity. That's the reason I'm here, and I continue to be here, because the love that shows up, just like it did today, is so wonderful, and there are so many people out there that want to be a part of a community where they're being spiritually fed. So thank you for letting me just share that comment with you.
Thank you. Any more questions or comments before we address which board members are stepping off and who's stepping on? Yes. That's a really good. So what happened was we had our mortgage was, Judy, how much again? Less than 168,000, we'll call it. So when we went, so we had a $600,000 capital campaign. So we took on the debt of $600,000, but we had an existing mortgage which was almost $200,000 at the time, but we kept paying it down until it got to about $170,000. And then we found out, and it was a gift through COVID, we could qualify for a small business loan. That money has to be used for operations, and so it will be. But what happened is, since we could use that toward operations, we could then look at our reserves. We sold some property. We had a house given to us from a member that we sold, so we had some reserves. So we took our reserves and paid off that $168,000 mortgage. So exactly right, there is no mortgage, except for Home Trust, because now that you could call that a mortgage because they have the church as a lien. So our capital campaign, the money that's still left owed on that, and that I believe we will definitely pay off this year. So that then leaves us with a $250,000 SBA loan, which for churches, most of you probably don't know, but if a church gets a loan, you have to renew that loan every 5 years, because who is securing that loan? It's not like an individual, it's a community. So church loans, you usually never get one over 5 years, and you never know where the interest rate's going to be. So to get a 30-year 2.75 loan was incredible. Now, we don't anticipate using up all that money. We hope to pay it back. I have a vision of seeing us scot debt-free, getting that to happen soon. So we're really watching those funds, and we'll be using it to pay down the loan. Yeah, really good question. Did that answer it? Okay. Any other questions about the financials or anything? All right. So, your Board of Trustees. Board members are eligible to serve on the board for a maximum number of 6 years. Every term is generally 3 years, unless you're having to step in for somebody who couldn't complete a term. So Bobby Flowers just completed her first 3-year term. And we said, Bobby Flowers, would you be willing to run for a second term? And she said, let me talk to my husband and talk to Jesus about that, and I'll get back to you. Jesus won. That's pretty true. It's always wonderful because it gives us continuity. You know, Ellen Winter served for a number of years, Jim Reed, before that, Joyce, who just was an incredible board. So board presidents, it's not uncommon for them to serve more than 1 year. It gives us great continuity. And so she was eligible, and she now has said yes, and so she went off the board for a few minutes, and now she's already back on to begin her second year term. Then we have Brian Mcgrady. Brian, would you please stand? Brian has just been a wonderful asset to this board. During his time, he had to take some time off because he went to school. He got his massage therapist license, and so he had to hit and miss some, but he's been a great individual, wonderful feedback he gives the board. His first 3-year term is complete, and he was not in a position to be able to run again, so Brian is stepping off, and that opened up another position, and so we are so blessed to have Jennifer. Jennifer Hastings is volunteered on many boards. She has served in this community. She was here with the previous minister. She's part of the fabric, and I know that if she says yes to doing something, she will do it wholeheartedly. So we're really, really blessed to have Jennifer. Thank you so much for stepping up on the board.
Let's especially give it up for Brian.
Brian, yes, thank you, Brian. Thank you so much, Brian. And as happens from time to time, not every board can fulfill the entire 3 years. So Fred Racy, who has served 2 years, has been incredibly helpful. He is stepping off after 2 years' service. So what that means is we have a 1-year position left. Now, in accordance with our bylaws, if any board member steps off before their term is complete, the board appoints a representative. And so Fred just recently is stepping off, keeping that timing clean, and I'm delighted to tell you that the individual who will be stepping forward to complete the year is Michael Winter. So would you please stand up, Michael? Thank you. And Fred Racy, thank you, Fred, for just sharing so much. So our next year annual meeting will be the third Sunday in February. You can mark your calendars now. We always give an alternate date in case of inclement weather, but is there anything else? I'm sorry, what? Lunch.
I got up earlier. I left my notes elsewhere, so I was just kind of just winging it. But the thing I neglected to say is on the memorial bricks, and is that you can go on the website. There's a drop down. I believe it's under Connect, Donna. And you'll see the labyrinth. And then if you go to the labyrinth page, it'll have a little history of the labyrinth, suggestions how to walk it, and then there's a link to purchase a brick. So thank you.
Patrice. So Patrice's question, I mentioned homecoming that first weekend in October, that we also want to have a retreat. When will we start planning? We had already put information out in the newsletter several weeks back, so there's a core group of people. If you're one of the initial volunteers, please stand and help me remember who it is. I know it's Ellen Winter, Barry Shepard, Christy, Marty, Reverend Karen, the ones you see on stage. So there's already a core team. It was through this team that we identified which date it could possibly be. The fact that I'm on sabbatical, that definitely shapes when it'll be. And COVID, of course, is the biggest. So that's why we're leaning toward the fall of having that. So this team will begin to do the grassroots, but our goal is to have it be church-wide. So there'll be plenty of opportunities for people to serve. I won't be able to be there. Okay. So what Patrice is saying is she personally can't make it those dates, and she's wondering how set they are. I think they're pretty set, but I'll go back with the team. We can look at that. Part of the reason is it bumps up to that Monday is a holiday. And so for people that travel, it gives them a Monday to get back home without having to take a day off work. Probably so. It's a good date to travel, apparently. Yeah, Betty Abbott. Oh. Since the theme was imagine, what do I imagine for my book? I imagine I'll tell you after it's written. I am holding it in a real close, sacred container, but yeah, it's coming.
Darlene, is the motion to adjourn in order?
I don't see any objection. I just hear growling stomachs. All right, would you please stand? Let's close in prayer. I'm going to ask you before you close your eyes to just literally take a look around, to take each other in. For those in the back, for our live stream community. And so now we do close our eyes and we take all of this in. We give thanks for evidence of Spirit moving here. We give thanks for each and every one that is a part of this spiritual community. We give thanks for the guidance and the grace. We give thanks for knowing what is ours to do and for being a part of that. And today we give thanks for this meeting and for all that is to come. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Thank you, each and every one. Well done.